There's an old hangman's tree down by the creek. Its twisted limbs recall the secrets tongues won't speak. A bell tolled out the sentence as the moon turned pale and thin. She swore his heart was free of guilt, but none would hear her din. By the hangman's tree she cries, her promise lost in leaves, where shadows weave their lullaby and time itself deceives. Her whispered plea still lingers on the cold and anguished breeze. Beware the cruel justice hung in those old knotted trees. She dashed beneath its branches through midnight silver haze, a ribbon in her hair, her eyes ablaze with desperate praise. Look past the sins they claim, she begged the silent watching skies. But ropes have minds of their own, and guilt has sharpened ties. By the hangman's tree she cries, her promise lost in leaves, where shadows weave their lullaby and time itself deceives. Her whispered plea still lingers on the cold and anguished breeze. Beware the cruel justice hung in those old knotted trees. Can you hear her footsteps rustling through the distant years? A heartbeat in the willows, a pulse of unshed tears. Every creak and every sigh recalls that fateful night when innocence was strangled in the absence of the light. The crowded eyes like cinders, their verdict sealed in stone. They watched him stand and stumble, then hung him on his own. She reached for him in silence, her promise on her tongue. But the rope was already tied, and the bell had hard begun. By the hangman's tree she cried, her promise lost in leaves, where shadows weave their lullaby and time itself deceives. Her whispered plea still lingers on the cold and anguished breeze. Beware the cruel justice hung in those old knotted trees. Now twilight finds her swaying with the mournful rustling leaves, a silhouette of heartbreak no dawn can e'er reprieve. She beckons every traveler to heed her final pain. No mercy in the gallows once the gavel falls again. Still lovers walk the creek bed where the restless willow grieves. They pause to hear her heartache woven through the eaves. No jury calls her guilty, no verdict verdict mars her grace. Yet nightly by the hangman's tree she weeps without a face. So linger not in silence where the cursed bell once rung, nor dance with ghostly rhythms on the tongue of ancient tongue. Remember her heart pleading, let compassion guide our plea, lest we too hang our justice on that cruel old tree.